Okay. All right. Well, welcome to BarnBridge project called 005. Let's jump into the agenda for the day. First thing on the agenda is yield farming, and we're going to hand it off to Dragos.
Oh, thank you, Troy. Hello, everyone. So yield farming. I mean, key update is that we've added more wallets and we basically, improving it. Well, that's not a key update, actually. We're going to touch on the key update in a bit. But more wallets have been added. So now you got Ledger, Trezor, Coinbase Wallet, Portis, and Wallet Connect will be pushed to production soon. It's currently being tested on. So just put a little bit on that. And yeah, the other key item update that has happened in the last 2 weeks, it's the pool free that has been added to the app. And to that, Tyler, do you want to take it away? Hold on a second, Tyler.
I'm sorry, everybody. My dogs are going nuts in the other room. Yeah, so we launched a pool 3. We put out a blog article about it for everybody in the community. It's basically a bond for bond staking mechanism. The team, we can't really speak for the investors or prevent that the investors, the seed round investors can do what they want with their bond. But the team has loosely agreed not to go into pool 3 because the entire point of pool 3 was to allow the little guy to essentially get access to bond. Like, one of the things that I guess was unintended about the way that our initial distribution started was that the high TVL created a scenario where you needed a lot of stable coins in order to get access to bond, which was not the original intended consequence. So we figure that for people that really want to signal and go long and support the project, that they should have a lower risk way, or at least a way that they don't have to put up millions of dollars worth of stable coins in order to farm bond. So it kind of acts like a multiplier effect for the robo dumpers that have a bunch of money that just want to farm and dump. That's on them. If you essentially want to hold your bond and put it in a compounding effect, that's what pool 3 is intended for. I don't want to say that the team's completely out of pool 3. I put a little bit of mine that I had made off of farming from it, but my entire stack isn't in there because pool 3 is kind of for, again, it's for the little guy. That doesn't mean that it's only going to be little guys in there, but over time, that will be the intended effect. But without getting into any further conversations about it, we can obviously share the Medium article with the community. I kind of go into depth on what the purpose is.
Yeah, and I think it's been relatively pretty successful in regards to allowing the little guy to get in there and get access to some of this. Especially if you're a big whale, if you're a big guy. I mean, the more fun places to really be in the pool 2 if you're a big guy, because you can get the upside. But this has been working, so I think everyone here is pretty happy with how that's worked out for everyone. And I'd just like to say that it's been great hearing back from the community that you guys have enjoyed it a lot too. So with that, we'll jump on to.
I want to add one quick thing that isn't on the agenda just before we get off this. This is more just a call for everybody on it, like Bogdan and Troy. One of the intended effects of a proof of capital distribution is to get the wallets or get bond into as many wallets in people's hands as possible, from a decentralization perspective. I know that we had that Aussie art type stuff that we were playing around with, and we created that Twitter bond for Twitter bot. And I think that we just got so busy in the minutia of everything that I don't know where we left on that. So I just kind of wanted to ask, while we were all on a call together, I feel like the community would want updates for how many wallets is bond in, what those, that stuff that I don't know who's doing it, if it's Cassian, but I loved that Aussie art, so I just wanted to know if we had a plan there.
Yeah,
Well, a lot of that
we
was
can make
coming.
that public. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
No. I was gonna say that a lot of that was coming down to what's going on with Botmaster, Daniel, in the Discord. So it's all being worked on, but we've had him doing other stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's coming. The real thing for that Twitter bot is around when the DAO is running and when the products are up, so that people can just get automatic updates, especially if there's, I mean, I know EJ and, well, I don't know if I should talk about it, but I know that like people get alerts about like when you need to go and vote on DAOs through bots. I know there's going to be some sort of notification system that's in the works somewhere. I don't know if I'm supposed to say anything about that, but there's things on the horizon that might be able to integrate into it also. So it's like, my personal opinion is what it's really used for is to keep people updated easily on like DAO votes. If tranches are about to, I don't know, implode, like things like that. You know, like it's in motion. I think for now, like just having it there, we wanted to secure it. But also like some of the stuff that Cassian has been working on, translating that into 144 characters might be a little difficult since it's ASCII or whatever you call it. So that's where I'm with that. I think we can jump into the next step, unless you want to talk
about that more at the end when I talk about like the operations and marketing. I'll do like a quick rundown.
Okay. Cool. That sounds good. Then let's jump into status of BBDAO and the products. Bogdan, would you like to take it away?
I would like to, yeah. And about the like the stats, the bot that Cassian made, we can make that public. I'm not sure if we already did that, but it's more for the tech-savvy crowd. But we're gonna do that, and we're gonna post an update on that, and people can run their own version of it and pull the stats for themselves. Okay, the BBDAO. So we have finished the smart contracts for the DAO, they're like 90% done. We ended up using the Diamond standard again for that because we want the possibility to upgrade the contracts. Shout out to Nick Mudge, the creator of the Diamond standard, because she joined us on Slack and he's been helping us out with all of the questions we have on that. We also finished the product design for the DAO. We started working on the front end already. Dennis has done his UI magic on it, and we're probably going to release some sneak peeks into how the DAO is going to look like soon. We're also moving away from using just the graph exclusively and starting to look at hosting our own infrastructure. And so, like, we finished the technical specs and started building the backend for the DAO and for the products. What else is there? Audits. Yeah, we've booked multiple audits with reputable firms for both the DAO and the Smart Field product. And while we're on that, Smart Field specs are done. Smart contracts are in development. We're going through some internal reviews of it, and we've been modeling it and testing it out. So we make sure like things don't and can't blow up in the Smart Field polls. So we're happy with how that's going. We've started working on the wireframes and design of the product for the Smart Field bonds as well. And at the same time, shout out to our advisors at PAR, because they started working on a V0 of the smart contracts for Smart Alpha. So yeah, we're working on both products at the same time at this point, and yeah, we have an initial version of how the Smart Alpha smart contracts are going to work. So things are going good. That's it. Signing off.
Thanks, Bogdan. I don't have anything I think need to be out of there. Okay, So then with that, I'd like to jump into actually some other projects or kind of initiatives that are going on inside of inside the team right now. So the first one is actually this idea of a bond desk that we've been talking about internally. I'm going to let Tyler do an intro on it, and then he can hand it off to Akeem.
Yeah. So basically, it's not just a bond desk. We're kind of working on like standards for syntax, like tokens that are completely fungible. Like think about it like DAI or like Ethereum. You basically like they're all the exact same, right? But like what we're creating as like tokenized representation are gonna like have different syntax and look different. Like some of them may even be like NFTs. So having like an aftermarket for something like that art, but it's like presentation of like a cash flow stream. I have like a Uniswap type interface that people can trade in and out of this type of like uh, again tokenized representation of risk. That the industry kind of needs to have some bit of standards around it to start. So we're going to be working with Aave just to start, and then we'll bring other people in. But Akin is going to be like spearheading the effort on our side. So I don't know if he wants to add anything to what I just said. I might have just stolen his thunder.
No, that's fine. So I think you pretty much just laid it out. I think I might add a little more color. So maybe folks who, well, for sort of like the more, new folks in the community. So typically the way these debt pools work, or collateralized debt obligations, is you have some sort of collateral, right? So a good example is like the mortgage industry. Like you have a house, which is your collateral, right? And so you put some equity into it, you borrow some debt. And then what typically happens for most mortgages in the United States, they're called like conforming loans. That's like the biggest part of the market because those are the kinds of loans that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac just buy wholesale if they kind of meet certain requirements, right? So bond issuers want to sell conforming loans because they know that there's a fairly liquid market for it, and they can pretty much just sell it like almost sight unseen to Fannie and Freddie. And what Fannie and Freddie do is package these, disparate loans into these pools, right? That would have, a term, say 30 years, it will have a yield, across that pool, let's say 5% average, right? And typically in the early days, they'll just package those pools and then sell them off to like central banks or large corporates, right? That wanted, a little bit higher risk and higher return over as opposed to just like putting all your money in bonds. But over the years, like they kind of grew in sophistication because as the markets grow, like a lot of buyers want to take very, very particular risk positions. So that's where tranching comes into it, where you can have that 5% debt pool and you can split it into, for our purposes, like two parts, right? The first would be the senior debt, which is basically the low risk tranche, where those guys always get paid first, right? So if you can imagine like, 10,000 mortgages paying their monthly bills, if I don't know, 1,000 like are late or 1,000 might be in trouble and might be close to defaulting on their loan, well, the senior debt will get paid first, right? Because they might just own the senior piece of those cash flows. And the junior debt is more risky, right? They'll want the more risky end of the portfolio, and they're willing to take the first losses, for example, right? So you can have that 5% portfolio that's split into two, where the juniors might take, I don't know, 2.5% return. And the seniors might take 2.5% return, and the juniors might take like 8 or 9, right? Depending on how you split the portfolio. And so typically when you start tranching those debt pools, it makes it easier for buyers to enter and exit the market. Because if a buyer has a certain portfolio of debt instruments, right, or yield instruments, whatever it might be, at some point as the market moves, they might want to keep balancing that portfolio. So they might say, look, our portfolio is too conservative. We have too much safe investments. Like, we want to take more risk. And so it'll be better for them to just go buy junior tranches in all sorts of assets, right? To kind of balance off what they have. And so typically that's what makes markets a much more liquid, right? Because you can chop up this very kind of fixed rate debt pool into 2, into 3, into 4. Like, you could go as far as the risk curve you want. But it just makes those markets and the liquidity for those products higher, because different market participants can enter, right? So you might have, in the past, where you had to have a central bank buy a whole portfolio. If you tranche it in different pieces, then you can have small asset management firms getting pieces of the action. You might have, family offices taking stakes in these assets where they couldn't buy the whole pool before, but they could take a piece of it. And so what that ended up doing is it creates I think, a little more of a liquid market for those who are originating the debt, which is basically our primary role at BarnBridge. But then it also creates this idea of a secondary market, right? Because these assets can be marked to market every day. Like, you can see the value of these assets, based on various variables, right? And you not only can have like this sense of selling it to one person. So if you have like a 30-day debt obligation, well, you don't have to just sell it once and let it like basically pay out. Whoever buys it potentially can sell it at day 25, right, at a discount, right? Because they've already received like, certain parts of those cash flows. And so you can mark that price daily and create this very, very liquid market. And typically secondary markets tend to be bigger than primary markets, right? Because you can now, sell an asset multiple times. It can be very liquid, and it just provides more opportunities for buyers and sellers to take risk, short-term risk, longer-term risk. Like, you have a lot more options. And so that's basically where we're trying to go with this idea of a bond desk, where we can issue like these primary debt pools, but we also want to have a liquid market where buyers and sellers can come into the market and take positions. And so in order to do that effectively and scale that market, this idea of having standards is important, because you want to know that, a senior tranche is a senior tranche is a senior tranche, right? They kind of have the same aspects. So all the buyers know what the variables are. They know how to price it. They know how to build their models against what the market pricing is, and they can then sort of, the idea is that every buyer has his own sort of estimate on what value is. And so if there's standardization in the marketplace, it's much easier for these buyers to enter and exit, because a 30-year or a 30-day senior tranche kind of looks the same, right? And they can sort of enter and exit the market based on what they think the fair value of an asset is. So that's basically what we're trying to kind of replicate in the crypto market with what we're trying to do. And the idea then is that if we create a very liquid market, then it's not just only good for crypto natives who are taking debt positions and want to sort of have more diversity in debt products, but we think it'll attract traditional finance as well, because those are products they've been trading for 30, 40 years.
Yep. Awesome. Very great breakdown on that. Thank you. So golf clap. Okay. We are working with other teams around these standard issues, and we're trying to get a lot of people on board with this. I think I'll just leave it at that for now. There's going to be a lot more updates around this, but the teams we're working with, everyone knows their names, and we have a lot of.
I don't think it's. We can. I've been talking with. Some of this started. We had already been talking about it, and I was just on a call with Stani from Aave, because he's an investor, and he got excited about it. And then like next week, we're talking to their entire team with Akin, and Akin's already done like a lot of work on it. So it's not anyone outside of that right now, other than like some of the other investors. And like I've been talking with more and more people about this. I think other than Aave, we shouldn't really like name drop anybody, but like they're the main one that we're kind of spearheading it with. Yeah. Troy just DM'd me. We can't actually even talk about that one. So we're talking about more than one group. But I think if us and Aave at least get it kickstarted, I think people will pay attention to it.
Cool. Okay. Well, with that, there's also been, we're going to jump into the next part of this, which is the Bounty Team Discord app that I've been working with Mark on. He's kind of spearheading this with his team, with Pablo and Vitali and everyone over there inside of the Discord. What this is, well, I'll let Mark kind of explain it, and then I can just add some stuff if need be.
Yeah, thanks, Troy. So what we're rolling out is we're going to start rolling out some bounty programs to allow the community to start getting involved more with the project. One thing that Tyler really loves is how community-driven BarnBridge is, and we actually really want to create an opportunity for you guys to start building with us. So this is truly a community-driven project. One thing that we've done this week is we actually installed something called a Fantastic 12 bot. And what that is it's a Discord bot that basically allows you to create teams inside of Discord channels. We have one basically built in already. I'm just going to shout this out so y'all can, if anyone's in our Discord, you can go ahead and look at it. Underneath squad initiatives in the sidebar, we have actually opened up so you guys can start creating your own squads. You can create your own channel and follow the steps in Fantastic 12 Get Started at the top. If you guys have any questions, you can reach out to me in Discord and I can try to point you in the right directions. But it is not something that I could probably explain to you how to do over a call. So if you have trouble, just feel free to reach out to me and I can try to help you out the best I can. But basically what it is it's a Teams bot that allows you to create a squad and you can work in Discord together to kill bounties, not only for BarnBridge, but for other companies like Chainlink or Aave, whoever has bounties out. But the cool thing about this is it is a beta, so take it, use it at your own risk, but you can pay out the bounties to your team. So say we have a team of 10 devs, and we've been working on this for 2 weeks and we finally get it solved and we get the bounty. We can then easily distribute it to everyone's Ethereum address in the squad and choose who, outline the parameters, who deserves what, who's team captain, or, say everyone gets an even share. You can set those parameters at the beginning. And really what this is we just want you guys to be in our Discord and work in we're just trying to offer tools for you guys to be in Discord and you don't have to leave Discord to work on bounties. And then it's more of a team space for you guys. So we're just really trying, again, to make BarnBridge more community driven and offer you guys more incentives. Part of the incentives, we have not completely decided yet what we're going to do for rewards, but I can probably assure you that we will be giving out some bonds, maybe Ethereum, and maybe some NFTs for some things that aren't so technical. And bounties are not only technical. We may be offering bounties for things that aren't, bug bounties. We may need something done as like an article written or something about something that we don't specialize in. I mean, bounties are kind of, they're pretty broad. There's a lot of different bounties. But so this week also, to just kind of wrap this up, we launched a Gitcoin. You guys can go ahead and follow us. That is where that's where we will be posting our bounties. So while this Fantastic 12 tool is more for you guys to be able to work together in Discord, pay out your teams, it's more of a tool for you guys. You're still going to have to go into GitHub, find the bounty, sign up to take the bounty. And that does not limit you to BarnBridge. You can go do any bounties you want, but we just want you guys to, we'd say do our bounties, but we can't tell you what to do. So, but I think that really wraps it up. I'd like to thank Scott Moore yesterday for helping me from GitHub. I had a little issue and I just want to shout him out. I don't know if you're watching, Scott, but I really appreciate the help yesterday. And We also have some Medium articles coming out involving this. So I will be releasing a Medium in the next week about a little bit more on how to use the Fantastic 12 bot. And when we launch the bounties, actually, we will be announcing that via Medium. But I think that's all I got.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. I think one of the things that needs to just be explained about this just really quickly is that this is kind of an initiative to start the transition of when we have the BB DAO up and running. So it allows, we can create kind of bounties around that if there needs to be development done that outside of us that wants to get done. We can, the DAO can set up bounties specifically for that. And then inside of our Discord, teams can come in and organize themselves through this app. But right now, it's going to be starting off as a rather simple app. So the bounties that will be out there, maybe there'll be notes need to be taken for calls like this, or teams can come in and do whatever they need to do, and they can organize through this app. It's an initiative. We'll see if it works, but we're looking forward to seeing it in action, and if we can get it running. Because in the long run, it's really about being able to have the community really kind of take over on some levels to handle a lot of this. So this is just one way.
It's a cool bot for sure too. My favorite line from Troy last week is it allows you to create your own smaller DAO inside the Discord. You create your own DAO for your team, create voting, create parameters, vote on it together, work together. It's actually a really interesting concept, but it is in beta testing. It is a new project. Give Fantastic 12 a follower on Twitter and Discord and give them some love. It's a cool product. Also, I'll shut up now and we'll move on.
Also, when Mark said Scott, he was talking about Scott from Gitcoin, not GitHub, which is fine. It's just
yeah, I get them. I use them interchangeably.
The only reason that that's important is because Gitcoin has actually been looking into doing something like this for a little while, and they think it's cool that we found this and are trying to implement it. I don't know how much like F12. I don't know. I mean, they're actually just like a good team all together. So like, shout out to them too. That whole like Bacon Lab squad.
Yeah, not a cartel.
The reason it is like, if we can't get it working with F12, like, I mean, we're throttled for bandwidth, but like Gitcoin is like helping us. So like, I have a feeling we'll get something working properly, because it seems like we're not the only people that saw this and we're like, holy shit, this is cool.
Yeah, I mean, and also that, Gitcoin needs to be able to be interacted through our DAO at a certain level. And so being able to work really closely with Gitcoin around some of these things, my personal opinion is that it's like essential for the long run, since they're building all this infrastructure for funding of the network, for like infrastructure, easy ways. So we need to be able to interact with it. There's issues around that, specifically around how Gitcoin is kind of set up, but being able to work closely with the team, I think we can get it done. And we'll probably be one of the first DAOs to really do that at a high level. So that's exciting. Personally, I find that really, really exciting. I don't think we have anything else on the agenda. If anyone out there has anything they want to go over, we're at 30 minutes into the call. So does anybody have something they want to say?
I had added to the, so maybe I did it improperly. Let me pull up the thing. I just have a quick like rundown that's not going to take a lot of time. So maybe I'll go last, because I just need 2 minutes at the end.
Oh, well, we're kind of at the end. So
are there any questions?
If anybody else has,
no, there's no comments right now from the community. Everyone. So if anybody will.
Yeah, I just want to add, like the Mark was talking, that we are trying to make Discord as useful to the community as possible. So guys, we have an FAQ bot. We are updating it on a regular basis right now. So try it out. You may find a lot of answers even before you ask them, even before you ask the questions. So
yeah.
I think if you
there's a lot of answered questions.
Yeah. Because like go on, Mark.
I think if you go into Discord and just type in I FAQ bot I help, it'll send you like every action to your DM, so you know exactly kind of what you can ask and what you can't ask. It's kind of a good tool. It
It's a
might
great
not
tool.
be that, but it's
Yeah,
something like that.
the guy that we have on Discord is amazing. Let me just wrap this up to save everybody time. So we're having a lot of conversations, like, let's just say, like, behind the scenes. We'll have a lot more information coming out about the DAO one, as I think it was like Bogdan or Dragos were talking about earlier. Like, this stuff's all a lot further along than I think that we originally planned. The audits are going to take longer just because of the TVL and the hype launch, but we're actually like ahead of time on development so far. As a result, I think just because I want to get the Discord to stop talking so much about price, because that's not like what we're really here to do. Um, we One of the reasons we haven't released a lot of information is because, like, we're a little bit worried about being front run by scams if we do the right thing and get audits. So, like, we've kept a little bit of this information close to chest, but we are going to start releasing information around like blog posts. So like, we'll have a DAO blog post coming out that the team is going to like help me with, that I think we'll start some conversations. We're actually kind of took it up to like the curve and M stable level, and then we've started even adding additional things on top of that that could come into like a V2 version, which is why using the diamond standard was so important, is because it's easier to upgrade. Other things are, I think that like I owe the community like an overview on like smart yield as well as smart alpha. Like, that's more than what's in the white paper, because the white paper at this point, it's not outdated, but like it's not as accurate as where we're at right now. So Akeen's gonna help me with that as well. I think that we can obviously do some blog posts around like what Mark is working with Troy on the bounties in particular, as well as some of this like CDO bond desk research. Obviously, we want to like get it a little further along before we start making announcements. And then going back to what Bogdan was talking about in the beginning, where we were talking about like the Aussie art, I think that at some point in the next couple weeks, we really should give some type of generalized update to the community on like the number of like wallets that this is in, like just some references or anchor points for like how successful this has been outside of just the vanity stuff that you can see like in a superficial capacity, like actually talking about the decentralization of the project. We also owe everybody just general team updates. Like, we updated the website on some of the people that we expanded for, but there's 3 full-time devs that aren't on the website. So like, when we get everything together, we'll update everybody with like who's actually building these projects. And the final thing that I wanted to say is that I needed to talk with Troy about this. I mean, I don't have like a green light from the team, but I've been just randomly in Discords and talking with some of the various investors on like easy like integration that we could do for BarnBridge. Like, one example was like, I just am in the pickle community and they were talking about BarnBridge, and I said like, hey, a really easy way that we could integrate with you guys is if we just plugged into your like revenue stream and we allowed you to buy into like high risk, low risk for something like that. Like, obviously, like Cream just listed us. I mean, we've talked to a ton of different teams, but there are some things that like are almost a next to nothing lift from the BarnBridge team once these products are live, where we can actually create like innovations and value add for the community. A big one is in like insurance. Like, if you put insurance into the smart alpha product, you can create reinsurance project, like reinsurance just off of the tranches. So there is a lot of like content that I think that we can start releasing to give everybody more information around what we're building between now and when we actually release it. So just keep your eyes peeled for information. I just kind of wanted to give everybody a heads up that we've been slam building, but we do need to, we know we owe you guys and girls more updates than we've been giving.
Right on. And with that, if anyone has anything to say, we'll, okay. I don't think anyone has anything to say. I think we've covered everything. So with that, we're going to sign off. We'll see you everyone in 2 weeks. Thanks everyone for being here. Catch us in the Discord. And yeah,
For
have a nice time.
BarnBridge!
There you go. Later, everyone.
There. Thank you.